And therefore, if you're looking for an easy drinking beer in Poland, you are getting the Imperial Pastry Stout. I believe the song goes that heaven is a place on earth, and specifically, heaven is a place in Warsaw, Poland. Welcome to PiwPaw, also known as Beer Heaven. Not our name, their name.
Their name, yeah.
So, what do you think so far, Alana? Are you in heaven?
I mean, my jaw's certainly on the floor. Like, it's one of those bars where you walk in and you just kind of go. And then you see the tap line up and just... What was it?
79 taps, 79
Yeah,
taps.
yeah.
Probably about a 50-50 split between domestic and international stuff, and every style you could shake the proverbial at. More importantly, how many bottle caps do you think are on the wall?
Oh, mate, I mean...
1, 2,
1, 2,
3,
3.
4, 5, 6. This will be a long video, that's right.
157,000.
1,700, yes. I'm sure someone will know the answer. We should probably find out. More importantly, 79 beers. And we have gone for 5 of the silliest that Poland had to provide for us. I say had to, like they were forced to. No, they did it willingly. So first up, we have what was described on the board as a pastry sour. It was described incorrectly. Having actually now tasted it and read up on it. So it is a smoked sour. It has smoked plums and apricot in, but more importantly, it has smoked malt as well. Now, a Lichtenheiner is a German style of smoked sour beer. The Polish equivalent is called a grodzotski. So this is a pastry grodzotski. It is a lactose smoked sour. So I can see no flavour clashes happening.
I mean,
what are your thoughts?
Literally just straight on the nose, you do get those massive smoked malts and that really dry apricot, like that sort of, you can almost smell the fur.
Wow. So I'm quite a fan of my smoked beers. I say quite a fan. Probably my favourite style of beer is a raft.
Is it raft beer? Yeah.
However, I do like my raft beers, my smoked lagers, but I like smoked porters, smoked stouts, you can dark beers, I believe. Smoked malt works really well on. Smoked sours, I've had a couple of Lichtenheiners in my time. They've never quite hit the mark for me. I do feel it is a very interesting flavour clash.
I mean, this is actually my first smoked sour, and
I'm getting the apricot.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like just that real, yeah.
Right at the end, eh?
Yeah. So it's my first trial with the style, and it's interesting. But I'm going to say good interesting and not bad interesting. You know how when people say, oh, it's interesting, and it's always done as a negative. I think this is actually a good interesting. You know, like you definitely do get those apricot sort of stuff coming through. The smoke isn't like slap around the tongue sort of assault. It's more...
It is quite subtle, actually, yeah.
It's much
as
more on the
flavour
nose.
experience goes,
yeah,
that is fascinating. I'm not going to say nice, I'm going to say fascinating.
Fascinating. Here we go.
Next up, number 2 is by a brewery called Greenhead Brewery. And this is the East Coast IPA with red pepper and lemongrass.
East Coast.
Allegedly an East Coast. Not sure, having seen the colour of it, but allegedly an East Coast. Let's not judge yet. Now, lemongrass is, again, a bit of a weakness for me. You put lemongrass in a beer, especially in an IPA. Henceforth, it has been ordered. What do we get from this?
I mean, it is screaming lemongrass. It is just, as you say, walk into an Asian supermarket, all of them fresh herbs.
Fresh herbs. So this is 6.9%, which, as we know, is the best ABV.
I mean, yeah, really getting that lemongrass. That's kind of the most forward flavour that you got on the palate. And then that red pepper, it's that sort of nice, sweet, just sort of chucked in your pan, gonna do a little stir fry sort of thing going on. Bit of zing. Yeah.
It is very, incredibly refreshing. You get the red pepper up first, then the lemongrass just kind of cleans everything up. It hasn't seen the East Coast of bloody anywhere. But the adjuncts do really make that there.
Yeah.
It is very interesting. Now, third up is a brewery called Gvarek. And this is a 7% NZ Hazy Dipper. Doesn't sound that interesting, doesn't sound that fun, doesn't fit into where we've gone, but this has phantasm in it. Now, for those that have not come across this is all to do with a new beer fad that we have seen a little bit of and are going to continue to see a decent amount of, called thiles. Now, thiles are complex flavour compounds that you can find within hops and therefore beer, but more prevalently in wine. What a couple of New Zealand brewers, Garage Project, have done is take waste wine and condensed it down into this powder form. What you're meant to do is sprinkle a bit of powder into your beer, and it is going to produce all these thiles, all these complex flavours. They're meant to be very juicy, very stone fruity, and then suit that kind of hazy style. Hazy New England, East Coast, whatever. So, has it worked? There's been a lot of skepticism of whether these actually add anything to the beer. There's also, if you're interested, a lot to do with like GM yeasts and that sort of thing. Please do Google this. I'm not going to give justice to this topic, given 30 minutes to describe it, never mind 2.
Yep.
So...
Yep. I mean, that is just incredible. Like, just actual juicy, and it's lame to say juicy to describe this, but yeah.
It smells like hot burn. Hot burn's that taste you get of if you got like kind of a New England that's been canned literally yesterday, and you drink it, and you kind of get that slight astringency in the back of your throat at the end of it. This smells like that. But it is very juicy, very stone fruity.
It's fresh, like it's just, yeah.
It follows from the bloody hell. It follows from the flavour.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean
think,
that is intense.
Yeah.
How much of that could you actually drink?
Not a pint.
Not a pint.
Not a pint.
But again, as flavour experimentation goes, bloody hell.
I think the only thing that, well, calling this a New Zealand Hazy Double, it only sits at 7%, which, as Kiwis know, 7%
Good luck
is...
calling that a dipper in New Zealand.
This is not a dipper level, you know. What'd you say, our sort of minimum...
Oh, at least 8. You've got to go at least 8 to be a dipper in New Zealand.
So, but I mean, that doesn't really matter with a beer like this, because it's just...
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need the ABV. I'd like to actually now try some lower session beers with this fantastic in. I can imagine like a Kiwi hot pilsner, that sort of thing, would absolutely bloody zing. Sit at about 4.5%. Do a session IPA.
I think
you could do a seriously session IPA. Do 1 or 2%. It's going to have so much flavour.
No, just like a real good pale ale. Like, let's not forget these classics.
Which one was pale ale? I think it's called session IPA.
And next.
Talking of old forgotten beer styles, number 4. We're back on Magic Road Brewery, which I think I forgot to mention. The smoked stout was Magic Road Brewery. They do a lot of very interesting, weird stuff. So we've got 3 of their beers. This is a bock with truffles. Now, I've had lots of truffle oil in my time. I don't think I've actually genuinely had a truffle. They're really expensive, aren't they? That's probably why I've never had a truffle. Alana Main, tell me what truffles taste like.
I put it here. and I can smell it. Like
I've been smelling it
you
since
can smell it since you
this
put it
whole
on the
video
table.
now. Okay.
Oh.
Never heard that noise before.
It was quite an interesting noise, actually. That, I mean, I'm not really too sure how I feel about that.
It smells like the ground.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm not really sure it's my cup of tea, but it is a bloody experience. As you say, I've only really had truffles and that sort of cooking, you good creamy risotto sort of thing, but putting it in a beer, chucking it in a bock as well, like...
Again, I admire the ambition.
It's,
what are you... Oh,
this
sorry,
is...
I meant to form eloquent tasting notes at this point.
I'm going to say this is interesting, but maybe not the good interesting, in my opinion.
We're on to beer number 5. We're staying with Magic Road Brewery. This is Bonjour Mon Chéri, which is an imperial pastry stout, which you see everywhere these days. It is such a common beer style. But this is a cherry praline.
Yeah, you really get that cherry. Really get it. Just that sort of sweet, not like fresh summer sort of situation, but like, oh, it sounds lame. Tinned fruit salad cherry.
Yeah, it's glacé cherry, isn't it?
Cherry. Yeah.
It's almost, it's syrupy, isn't it? Which sounds silly for a pastry stout, but it is syrupy.
But it's not actually ridiculous, considering the other beers that we've had. This is quite normal, which is...
There's a good warmth of booze on it. Nice kind of light sweet cherry. I'm not getting a huge amount of praline, but of the 5 beers, I would say that is the simplest, probably the most sessionable. And therefore, if you're looking for an easy drinking beer in Poland, you are getting the Imperial Pastry Stout.